If you're watching this, don't come to Melbourne. Oh, every Filipino's got Spanish blood. Bullshit!
Hello everyone, my name is Kashi and welcome to Kwentuhang Creative Podcast. This is the final episode. So I've invited someone special, just like our special guest on episode 1. Ow! The one and only.
Do you have a wide shot?
That's the
Both
wide
of us?
shot.
Oh, that's a wide shot. Okay. Hello! Are we speaking Filipino? Is this for mainstream?
Mainstream.
Oh, hello! Kumusta po kayong lahat? Ako po si Al Noveloso. It means, hi, I'm Al. Welcome all. Is that right?
What's the difference in the tone?
It's Sunday morning, Kishi. I should be in church praying to God, and now you caught me out here, and
Well, you could have
I'm going to
said
repent.
you can't.
No, I'm fine.
Don't blame me.
No. I'll go to church this afternoon.
Okay.
Or later tonight.
Alright.
Well, I'll give it a miss this weekend.
Why?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I've been praying to God a lot. Maybe he doesn't like me.
Yeah. Well, you came all the way from East Side, right? How long did you take?
Okay, so I came from southeast side. So southeast side. So close to Dandenong. Took me over an hour by Citylink, mind you.
Okay.
So if I didn't take Citylink, it'll probably be an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go home via non-Citylink, and I'll tell you how long it will take me to get home.
But why?
Because I can save money.
True.
Yeah. But no. I like driving, so I don't mind. But I haven't been to this area of Melbourne for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And as I was saying to Keshi, last time I came to this area, there was just rabbits. That's all I saw, rabbits.
I can still see rabbits or
right.
fox crossing the road
really?
sometimes. Yeah, they're still here.
Okay. Yeah. But there was no traffic jam near the railway, right? It was just like, there was no one here. But now there's heaps of people living here. So anyway, it's good view. There's a view of, which mountain range
There's
then?
a park.
Is it Brisbane
I don't
Ranges?
know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it took me over an hour, which was okay, pretty good. Like I said, I'm other side, and I like to venture in different places, so it's a good drive.
Yeah. Well, you've been to the Melton side around before COVID though, right? When we were filming that,
Mountainside.
In Melton.
Melton, yes, Melton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time. Oh, but not Melton South. You see?
Oh yeah.
There's a big difference between Melton and Melton South.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, during a couple of years ago we were at Melton, but this particular because a friend of mine during uni days used to live in Melton South, and we went to her house 3 times. So so that's what I mean with this area. Like I shouldn't say where you live just in case there's stalkers.
Yeah.
Right? She doesn't live in Melton South.
No, I don't.
She lives in Rockbank.
Yep. Yeah. It's interesting though, because you can see the difference in the houses. Like you can see like the old houses and then like the brand new ones.
Yeah. So this is like this new estate.
Yeah.
But further down, close to the station, is the old area. Yeah. But it's turned out pretty good actually. So a lot of people live around this area.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. When we moved here, like everything was still like red dust. You know?
Just wait till the trees grow.
Yeah.
The area will look much better.
Hopefully. We feel bad for the birds.
Why?
Because they don't have the trees anymore.
Oh, that's all right. Well, there was no trees here in the first place.
Oh,
They were
really?
just rabbits.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So when I think that's one of the things that a lot of the new estates lack is like just the look that's been there for a while, established area. So one of the things that you always sort of look at when like say for instance, Caroline Springs, when they built that, it's no trees. It looked really new, like everything else. But it looks better now with trees that are older.
Yeah, I like it when I go to a suburb or just a street and like you can see the trees.
Yeah.
I love it when there's trees around because it really feels like you're surrounded by nature. It feels feels better.
Where I live, there's lots of trees. Actually, I was overseas when the storm hit. But my family was sending me pictures of the area where I lived, and you can still see that there's a lot of people working on cutting up the limb. So there's lots of trees. very, very leafy, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. Well, let's talk about something else. I've said it before that you're, a special guest for today,
But
and
hang
that's
on.
for a reason.
But
Yeah.
hang on, isn't every guest of yours a special guest?
Of course they are, but extra special.
Oh, extra special guest. Okay.
Like extra spicy or whatever.
Super special.
Yeah, super special because I feel like you're the first person who opened the gates to the Filipino creatives that I'm working today.
Really?
Like Jerome. I met Jerome through Pinoy TV.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Jerome is behind the camera.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, well, that's great. That's good that you two are working now because of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's well, I mean, I'm sort of like, I'm not embarrassed. I'm sort of thankful that you actually acknowledge that. But it's just a coincidence. It's like, yeah. I mean, look, there were. I produced a show. It's been producing it for the last 22 years now. We had a big long break because I had to have a break because of family, but we always wanted to bring in creatives to work together because the content is of Filipino nature.
Yeah.
Okay, so it makes sense that you have people of Filipino background working towards making that content. I mean, we also had other non-Filipinos working in it, but maybe it was just a coincidence that all these people then eventually further down the track started working together, like you and Jerome, right? And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the aim of getting people together and then making this thing. It's just like, okay, they get experience. It's all about empowerment and seeing that their skills are not wasted, but giving them the opportunity to upskill and use that in their pursuit of job opportunities.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I remember when okay, so this is how it started. Before I met you, I've only worked with one Filipino actor, which is for my very first short film. That's a bit cringe. I didn't even know that he was Filipino. Like I wasn't specifically casting for Filipino actors,
okay.
and then he auditioned, and I liked him.
Who was it?
His name is. What's his name? No, he's not. He's not in Melbourne. I'm so sorry. His name starts with letter D. He's not here in Melbourne anymore.
Is he first name or last name starts with D?
First name.
Oh.
Hang on, he's on my Instagram.
Oh. Did I work with him?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's an actor, right?
Yeah.
D. Do you know?
Does it start with D?
No, I mean, what was your first film? Is this for uni?
Yeah, uni is like my first film for uni.
You went to RMIT, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was, and then I moved to Swinburne. Anyway, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But Swinburne was more technical than RMIT, right?
Yeah, I honestly enjoyed Swinburne.
Yeah.
More than RMIT. And that's like the main reason why I moved somewhere else.
Well, I know that a lot of people, because, students would come to, at ACU, people would ask, what do I do now? Or I want to get more involved. And I always say to them that I think is it the diploma that you did?
I did diploma at RMIT and then advanced diploma in Swinburne.
Okay, yeah. The course at Swinburne was a bit more hands-on.
Yeah.
And you'd actually get to learn more stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll cut that out just in case RMIT people are watching. But that's
I'm just talking based from my own experience.
No, but I think that generally, like when people ask me, where should I go? I always say that I had the last season we've had Swinburne students, and they were really good. Like they really know what they were doing, and other people are kind of like, really? Is that what they don't teach you at school? Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, but anyway, look, going back to that thing, I'm glad that you actually got the opportunity to meet other people, and through that experience with that work that you did, it opened up, your connections with the broader community. Because I know you're not from Melbourne originally.
Yeah.
You're from Adelaide.
Not exactly Adelaide. 4 hours away from Adelaide.
Where's that? Victor Harbour?
Port Augusta.
Oh, Port Augusta.
Yeah.
They've got sharks there, haven't
Yeah.
they?
I don't know.
No. Victor Harbour's got sharks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can I ask how you got to Port Augusta? So your dad got...
Yeah, so my dad got a job in...
Is he a welder?
Panel beater.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to work for immigration and people would say, regional sponsorship. Yeah, you can't go to Victoria, you got to go.
I think he was supposed to be stationed in the city. And then, because they also have one in the city,
okay.
but they moved him in regional.
But it's hard to go straight into Victoria or Sydney, or Melbourne or Sydney, because it's not regional. You have to actually go to somewhere like Western Australia, South Australia. And then eventually they come to Sydney or Melbourne. Although my cousin's wife, she came to Adelaide as a migrant. Mm-hmm. And they've been there for a long time and they don't see the need of coming to Melbourne. Yeah. Because you know why? It's so bloody cheap to live in Adelaide.
Yeah.
It's so expensive here. If you're watching this, don't come to Melbourne. Cost of living is so high and you're going to put pressure on everything else, infrastructure, transport, jobs. So don't go to Melbourne, go to Darwin.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been to Darwin. I wanted to go there. But yeah, it's not actually bad living in Port Augusta. It's a very small town, very quiet, and cheap. But I didn't mind it.
But if you're creative...
Yeah.
Kill you.
I wasn't a creative back then.
What were you?
I was a business student.
Oh! So what... Sorry, I'm doing the interviewing. What changed from business to creative?
Well, look, I studied... Okay, so when I graduated from high school in the Philippines, we don't have year 11 and 12. Yeah. So straight to uni...
Oh, so you only did 4 years of high school in the Philippines.
And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't have a dream yet. I don't have a goal. Yeah, I was just,
Filipinos grow up very quickly, They need to make decisions.
Well, that's why I took business. I'm scared of blood, so I'm not doing any medical or, Yeah, I'm scared of needles and blood and stuff.
So you're saying to me, business students have no idea what they're doing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I actually met someone in that... I had a classmate. Well, she's really creative. Like, she's amazing at paintings. Like, it's really, like, the advanced level. Yep. But her family got a business and she has to do business.
Take it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But yeah.
Could have been a nurse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing because the things that I learned from my business course, I could use it now when I'm... producing and
you need to be multi-skilled, not just you can be creative, but then if you're going to get into business or in corporate world or any other way you have to transact with money, you need other skills. It's hard for you to just be purely creative.
Yeah, and as a creative person, you have to learn how to sort of market yourself, and you still have to deal with those boring document stuff.
Yeah,
so
paperwork.
Yeah,
bureaucracy.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. But anyway, so good. Anyway, so back to your point about connecting Filipinos. I hope I've done that, but it's really not the intention that we kind of we work towards. We build a platform or an avenue for. Young people to work together to produce content, and what they do with that later is the result. Oh, I like your slippers.
Do you want one?
No. I
have one. I have another one.
I have lots of slippers like that.
This is from Kmart.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I shop at
really
Kmart all the time.
And, comfy.
I should be a shareholder because I love everything like homewares.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're so I really love that organized stuff.
Everything I buy is from Kmart because it's cheaper than
Kmart. I think.
Oh really?
Or might be Big W.
Yeah. Big W. Yeah. Big W is more expensive than Kmart.
Is it?
Yeah, because where I live, there's a reject shop, Kmart, and Big W, and I always compare because they're only like 50 meters apart, and I always walk up and down. Oh, that saucepan is $2 more expensive than Big W. I'll save $2 and go to Kmart.
I think I go to Kmart more often now because I shop at Kohl's a bit more often and they're close to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just convenience.
Yeah, anyway, so there you go.
So back again.
Back again. So, it's good that you and Jerome are working. And I
think it's a bit of a coincidence though, because I was really just scrolling through Star Now and then I saw your...
ad.
Yeah. And I was like... Pinoy TV. Like, there's a Pinoy TV?
Yeah, well, look, we've been around. The thing is, with Pinoy TV, it wasn't really aimed at the Filipino community because when we started in 2001, when you ask a non-Filipino or the mainstream audience what they know of the Philippines, most of the time they'll say, "Oh, I know of that woman who had 4,000 pairs of shoes." Of course, that was Imelda Marcos.
Yeah.
The I would say the late ex-president's wife. No, she's not dead yet, but yeah. So Imelda and also, oh yeah, there's a lot of young women who marry older guys.
Yeah.
Call them male order bride, but I don't like saying male order bride.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like demeans the woman as a piece of object. Where we know, I know people who've married. It was a marriage of convenience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back then it was like that was the only image or knowledge that most people know about Philippines. It's like, well, do you know anything else? Do you know about Boracay? Do you know about Tinikling? Do you know adobo? None. Seriously, because I suppose people can understand. I mean, from my accent, or that I've lived here. Like, this is where I grew up, and so it was very hard for me to fly the flag and tell people about the Philippines. It's like every time I come across people, it's like, where are you from? Are you from China? Are you from Vietnam? No, I'm from the Philippines. Oh, where's that? It's like, oh my God, do I have to? I mean, we're not in America. So in America, they've had a long history of migration from the Philippines. But here we were relatively new. So, I mean, I was part of the first group of people who came to Australia in the 70s. So they don't know much about it. And because relatively was small compared to the Vietnamese and the Chinese, people didn't know much about us. And also, Filipinos were quite good in melding in,
Assimilating.
integrating.
Yeah.
No, hang on. I'll correct Jerome.
All right.
I don't like the word assimilate because it assumes that we become part of the mainstream.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, some people do. They choose to assimilate because they want to leave a lot of their Filipino traits behind. I would say we integrate quite well because of our English language. It's a good thing and a bad thing. So that we're not like, we can hear a Vietnamese accent from far away and a Chinese accent. Whether it's Mandarin or Cantonese, you don't know, but it's Chinese. But with Filipinos, they've got the American drawl.
Yeah.
So they kind of like a bit different to the other Asians. And look, Filipinos are Asians. They're not freaking Mexicans with what we call
We're not
Mexican.
islanders.
It's not. Well, we are actually part
Sort of,
islander.
yeah.
I was watching what do you call it? A documentary with Dr. Martin. That series, Martin Bright. What's his name? And they went to the Philippines. Said Philippines is an archipelagic island nation. So we're kind of in tune with that. So we are Asians. We're not Mexicans. We got bloody Spanish names because the Spanish gave it to us.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, every Filipino's got Spanish blood. Bullshit.
American English name and then our first
Yeah,
name.
it's like,
and
no.
last name is
Own it
Spanish.
up. Like, learn your history, right? We're Austronesians.
Yeah.
If you don't know Austronesians, look it up. We're not freaking Mexicans we're not Asian Mexicans. Although, the Spanish who administered the Philippines early, throughout the colonial history were actually from Mexico. Because it's too far to go down. So what they would do is send the Mexican people from the Mexican colony to Spain.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
So when we say it's Mexican, there is a Mexican
There's
connection.
a connection, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, why do we go to
I
the
don't
subject? Oh yeah, so Pinoy TV.
Yeah.
So that's how much they know. So it's become like it's like a window to the Filipino community, cultures, and community and cultures of the Philippines. So it was because you had TFC and people would watch that. But it was, I think for us it was important for us to portray the Filipino community in a positive light. We always spoke English because I think that when you speak English to the broader audience, you get more attention than if you speak Tagalog or whatever. Who you're talking to the Filipino community, but we wanted to talk to the mainstream. And also, that's again, that's a bit of a problem for some Filipinos. Bakit? Akala ko Pinoy, Filipino kayo, bakit hindi kayo nagtatagalog? It's like, hang on, excuse me. But you're assuming that all Filipinos, especially the kids, could speak Tagalog. I mean, I go to my, one time I went to my friend's house, and they were Bisayan. And I started talking Tagalog to the parents.
Oh.
They just answered me in English. I wondered, what the hell? They don't talk to me in Tagalog. And I realized, Cebuanos hate, well, not hate, but, prefer speaking English than Tagalog. Right, guys? Yeah. So, even like Tagalog's my third language. I'm from Pangasinan.
Oh.
So, my first language is Pangasinense.
Pangasinense,
Pangasinense. And then Ilocano. And then third language that I learned was Tagalog. So, even then, my first language is not Tagalog.
So you can speak 4 languages, if you include English.
You put me in Pangasinan for a week, it comes back to me.
Yeah.
But because when we came to Australia, there were hardly any Filipinos. And of course, if there's hardly any Filipinos, you wouldn't have a group of Ilocanos or Pangasinense. You'd have just Tagalog speakers or anyone else who spoke Tagalog because that was the common language. So I didn't manage to keep my Ilocano and Pangasinense, but I kind of still understand.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, some Filipinos judge the parents when their kids can't speak Filipino. Like, they don't teach their children Filipino, but it's just the environment,
It's the environment. I mean, my God, but again, that's a problem. Like, sometimes you have to choose because if you live in a community that's full of Filipino speakers and you practice it, that's fine. But sometimes the language of mainstream becomes a difficulty. The key is you have to master your first language to master the second. So it's difficult if you're in a foreign land to do that because, you go to school, it's all English.
Yeah.
They talk like this, like an Australian, it's like an Australian accent, right? And you have to get used to it because if you don't take up that accent or they don't understand you, hey, racism in the 80s was real, in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
You walk down the street and you'd be the only person that's not European or Anglo, and you get picked on. That's how bad the racism was. It was very overt, all right? I remember when I was catching a train on the Belgrave-Lilydale line, and there was the 2 Chinese ladies who were talking in, I think it was Cantonese, and some person from the other side of the carriage walked up, went to them and confronted them, saying, we're in Australia now, speak English. That happened.
That always baffles me, because, why? Are you trying to listen to their conversation?
I mean, I think some people just didn't feel comfortable about other cultures back then. Now, it's like we take it for granted, but back then it was really hard.
Yeah.
And it's sink or swim. I know that some people reverted to their own community. For me, it was a challenge because I grew up in the eastern suburbs. And if you revert back, you lost. You actually lost because they were the one picking on you. They were the one who's saying, you're different from us. So what do? I learned how to play cricket. I learned how to play football. I learned how to be Aussie. And actually kind of, did the thing about, doing what Aussies did. And so in the end, they're kind of like, well, are you picking on me because I can't play football? I can play better football than you. Are you picking on me because what? I don't know anything about Aussie culture. I think I'm, pretty Aussie enough. So why are you picking on me? Oh, my race. You're bloody racist.
Yeah.
So you call them out that way. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm no different to you. I'm actually, I'm very proud to be bicultural. I mean, we're all multicultural here, but in terms of, again, keeping that Filipino-ness and going back to Jerome's comment about assimilation. Yeah, some people do choose to assimilate because it's just too hard, and it's just better to go with the flow and be as Aussie as you want. But integration is probably the key to keeping both your Australian and Filipino identity. But other people, they isolate themselves and they just keep within the community. Again, that's a bit of a problem because, I mean, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there, and you know, some of the stuff. It's like, really? Why don't you go out and actually experience? You're in Australia now. Go watch a football game if you know, or you know, whatever. Just go out, eat a meat pie.
Yeah.
Experience being in Australia, because I mean that's the reason why. If you know, I keep to your, because you know what, it's convenient, it's comfortable, but life is not being convenient and comfortable. There's other experiences you have to enjoy and appreciate, because again, it goes back to your own culture, and you can see that there are great stuff about being Filipino.
Yeah.
There are great stuff about being Aussie, but there are stuff about being Aussie and stuff being Filipino, right? But then you can't do that if you're stuck in one corner or one place. You don't have a reference point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just, you know, you just take the good and leave the bad things.
There's a lot of good stuff from both cultures.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like this. I always tell people when they come here, it's about tall poppy syndrome versus crab mentality. Because
I've heard of that phrase, but I'm not sure what that really is.
So the tall poppy syndrome, there's a poppy flower that grows, and this was kind of, I think, maybe popularized during the, you know, they sell poppy flowers during Anzac, or anyway, it was because in France there were a lot of poppy flowers.
Yeah.
But poppy flowers grow up high. So when they say tall poppy syndrome, what Australians don't want is a tall poppy. They cut them down if it grows too high. Why? Because Australia is a very egalitarian society, which means that regardless who you are, we're all the same. Okay. So no one is more important regardless of your class, race, money, whatever. Everyone's the same. That's why you kind of like, okay, if there's a homeless person, you know, usually kind of like, okay, you feel sorry for them, but, you know, they're not as bad as someone else. Like if you see the Prime Minister walk, you know, in the Philippines, it's like, oh my God, I watch all these things where, you know, celebrities, they worship them like gods. In Australia, you see Kylie Minogue walk down and say, hi, Kylie, and she'd say, hi. That's it. You don't kind of like worship them like someone else, because it's all about everyone is the same here. You treat everyone the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas the crab mentality, they're in a pot. One goes up, but they drag them down. But the one who drags them down wants to go up again.
Yeah.
So it's not like that. We stay the same in Australia. So it's different when people say, oh, it's the same as crab mentality. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the things that I love about Australia, because, again, when we go to the Philippines, you know, even me speaking English, oh, sir, I'll get special treatment. It's like, this is because I come from overseas. Don't treat me special. You think I've got money? You know, it's like all about status. It's like, no. I really hate that about Philippine culture. It's ingrained.
I don't like being called ma'am.
Ma'am, sir.
I hate it.
Ma'am.
Please don't call me ma'am.
Yeah. No, that's why I try not to, but that's because I grew up here.
Yeah.
And I feel that everyone, I mean, should be treated the same. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I didn't grow up here, and I can totally relate with that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up here, but I feel I love the equality thing, because, you know, when you go back to the Philippines, you can really feel, especially when they felt that, you know, you're from a different country, or you came from. Yeah,
I mean, some people also, I mean, I think it's part of the culture. They act their sort of like class in the Philippines. Like, you know, can I tell you, I was an experience, you know, I like Muji clothes. So I went to one in Shangri-La.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, I mean, there's nothing different. It's just the contrast between, you know, people walking around in Shangri-La, and then, you know, you just go outside and walk across, and it's Mega Mall. And it's like, it's a different sort of crowd. It's like, oh my God, it's just really, why don't those people go to Shangri-La? And you know why. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it was quiet in Shangri-La. But Mega Mall, you know.
Yeah.
It's a huge Uniqlo store in Mega Mall.
Oh, yeah. There was a Uniqlo store in SM Baliwag, which is pretty cool. Pretty expensive, though.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, the good thing about in the Philippines, like even the provinces, they have everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Manila.
Yeah.
There's
SM got everything.
Yeah.
Here at
We're,
SM.
we're not promoting SM. We'd also shop at Glorietas.
I just sang the theme song.
She knows it. Oh my God.
Happy to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So next question.
So how was your experience when you were working with other Filipinos in Pinoy TV?
Oh, it was good because I mean I got to see some young people from my community be interested. Now, of course, I mean in terms of doing volunteer work, you kind of figure out that people do volunteer work generally because one, they want to upskill, two, they want to network with other people, and three, it's like giving back to the community. So hopefully some of those young Filipino Australians that did get involved got all three experiences, but it's like that. It's like people want to do some work because they see one, two, or all three of those what I think are reasons that they wanted to be involved in the first place. So if they did get something out of working for the community, that's great. But I suppose the other two about networking with other Filipinos, creatives, and the first one is to basically upskill and learn the ropes are equally important. So they were good because I can joke about things Filipino and they get it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you talk to someone out of the community, it's like, oh well, you don't get it. But because it's we early days, it was so fun because we were playing around with lots of things about being a Filipino Australian back in the Philippines and back here in Australia. So there was a lot of things and it was kind of like it's different too because we were kind of like pretty much quite new and we all came from the same sort of like background. Whereas now, I think it's kind of really hard because you have the young ones who were born here, who grew up here, and who had one sense of Philippines or Filipino culture. I say that because, I just came back from the Philippines and it's hard for me to say, well, I can totally embrace or understand what a Filipino feels like because, no, Filipinos are very much a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
I'm from the north.
Layers in it.
Yeah, I'm from the north, so I can probably be familiar with Olacandia culture, mga Ilocanos, okay, or Pangasinense, which is different to the Visayans because we've got very good friends and we always go to Cebu when we go to the Philippines. And it's a different culture altogether.
Yeah.
So when someone says, oh yeah, I'm from the Filipino household, you kind of think, okay, first I've got to figure out
where in the Philippines.
Where there, and also the circumstances.
Yeah.
Because, there's, the people who came here on a particular type of visa. Do they come for family sponsorship? It's a lot of things. So, when someone asks me about, let's unify the Filipino community, good luck! Good luck, because we all have different sort of sense of what being Filipino is.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think sometimes you kind of think this sense of nationhood is convenient. Because, someone who lives in Siquijor don't think can relate to someone who lives in the Batanes Islands, right? It's like totally different. Even, your barangay, it's like, that's someone from that barangay is different to us. It's really, you're in the same bloody municipality, right? It's sort of different. And also there's the class thing too, if you didn't study in, the
Manila.
nice schools, or Manila, you're right.
Yeah.
And you went to some sort of, regional school, it's like, it's different. So I think that sometimes we're trying to look for something that's not there. But there is sort of like a, unifying thing that makes us Filipino. And I think, we should work on those commonalities, not so the differences, but acknowledge the differences.
Yeah,
that when someone says, you're not Filipino enough, just please define that. I went to a conference recently of studies, Philippine studies in the diaspora, which means all around outside the Philippines. And several of the academics who presented papers at the end says, if someone asked me to define what a Filipino is, I wouldn't be able to define it. because there was one person who said that I can't speak Tagalog. And she's from Manila, but a family only, talks in English.
Yeah.
And she went to one of the better schools in the Philippines, so they only talk English.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to her in Tagalog. She would talk to me in English. I think, wow. So yeah, so that thing about let's be careful about saying that you're not Filipino enough. You know what makes a person a Filipino? Someone who appreciates good adobo.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. Or balut. I go, not all Filipinos like balut.
I don't eat balut.
Oh, you don't? Oh.
I used to when I was a child.
Oh, really?
And then I realized that it was a chicken. I was like, no.
Just close your eyes when you eat it.
I can't. I can taste the shapes and the...
Really? You can, when you can feel the feathers, that's kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you eat it at night. You don't eat it during the day.
That's why I can eat it when I was a kid, because I was, I was innocent.
Should have brought some today. Jerome, you like eating balut?
I've tried it. It's alright. I like the taste. I like is it the soup?
The soup, yeah.
Yeah, the soup is alright, yeah.
So I pretty much, if I start, I have to finish it. Also.
Yeah. They have one called Pinoy. That one I can eat because it's just egg. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. So let's be fairly what's the word? Loose with that definition of what Filipino is. Because I have brown kids. So I married a Filipina, and I always say to them, well, you're not really Filipino because you didn't grow up in the Philippines, but to acknowledge your Filipino-ness is good enough. So they eat my mother-in-law's food. So they like that. It's Filipino food. So yeah, they love my sinigang and my everything I cook. Nah, I don't have a huge variety of food that I cook, but just comfort food.
Yeah.
The bulalo, just the soupy ones. Tinola. It's like comfort food.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think sinigang and adobo is definitely like...
That's the first thing I do when I go to the Philippines. I eat pork sinigang.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the same for, the rest of the Filipinos in other regions of Philippines, though. Wow. Would they say that adobo is...
Nah, they got different adobo.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it's like pinakbet. It's like the Ilocano pinakbet. Different adobos too, But yeah, no. I'm just saying that the fact that, I think what I say is like, having an appreciation of something Filipino is enough for you to be a Filipino. And the fact that, it's hard now. It really is, because how do we then come together as a community, if we can't make those definition, but yeah, just don't claim that, you're a Filipino and no one else is a Filipino.
Yeah. And
that's a problem. And also like when, and creatives too, when they make a film or make content, don't say it's the Filipino Australian kind of like model, because everyone has different experiences of being a migrant here.
Yeah.
So please, if you are creative and if you're putting it out, just say a Filipino Australian experience.
Yeah. A Filipino Australian podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because then someone else can do it. Right. So yeah, it's different. So please, because we're a diverse group, we have different experiences. Some have been here for 70. Been here for over, like I know of someone who was born here and she's in her 60s now.
Oh.
So her parents came in the 60s. And people who have just arrived recently, but that transition or that acculturation, let's call it acculturation, into mainstream Australian society is very different for everyone. So what they experience is valid, but don't call it that's the only experience.
Yeah.
Like again, some people grow up in bicultural household, meaning that the father is non-Filipino and the mother is.
Yeah.
That's a totally different experience to someone who's, grown up in the province and come straight here, to someone who's grown up in urban areas in Cebu or Manila, right? You're from Bulacan, that's Manila, right?
No.
Because, when you drive along NLX, it's like, we're passing Noveloso. Oh, it's Bulacan already, but there's no, what I mean? It's Metro Manila now, isn't it?
Is it? No, it's not.
Isn't it?
It's still a province.
No,
Yeah.
it isn't.
It's not.
It isn't? Where are you from, Jerome? What province?
I'm from the province.
Which?
Manan.
Oh, Bataan.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to go up
Where
that way.
seafood is not a
It
luxury.
takes about 3 hours drive.
But you still have to go through Bulacan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
See?
3 hours or usually like a ferry can be like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the seafood thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Apparently,
Victoria.
seafood is not a luxury in where he lives.
Oh, it's not. It's like
It's
staple.
a luxury for me.
Staple. It's
Ah.
it's cheap. It's not nothing. I know a lot of people. My mom's side of the family, all my uncles were fishermen.
Ah.
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends in the Philippines. They're like their parents are like fishermen. So it's like when I go there, I have people that just gives me crabs and things, crabs and shellfish.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
But I do feel I feel sorry that so I still pay them. I don't want to just take free stuff.
How much? How much do you pay them?
Because I saw my cousin once. She has a cart. Like she's not very well off, but like I saw her once, and then I was with my other side of the family, with my other cousin, and she was selling them fish. And then I gave her like heaps of money just for it because you just want to help him out and stuff. So.
You didn't give him 50 pesos, did you?
No, I gave her like 600 pesos.
Oh, that's a lot. That's good. You're very generous.
But, yeah.
Yeah, generous. That's good.
Yeah.
No, we in our region it's gulay, so like everyone grows everything. So you kind of like but we're close to Dagupan, so it's like Bangus capital.
Where is this?
Pangasinan. So you go Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, and then Pangasinan.
Oh yeah. It's more of like a north.
North.
Yeah.
Before you start going up to Baguio, that's the last province. Yeah.
I've been to Baguio once.
So you would have gone through
No,
Pangasinan.
because I had to go to Ilocos once.
Oh.
My friend's wedding. She was marrying a Filipino guy from Hawaii. He went to Ilocos.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a culture thing that Ilocanos marry someone from like another country. That's Filipino, and then they get married in the Philippines.
If you go to Hawaii,
Yeah,
if they say, "What are you, a Filipino?" they'll say, "I'm Ilocano."
yeah, there's a lot of
Ilocanos, because they worked in the plantation way back when they brought Filipinos over to work in the plantation in Hawaii. Yeah, so
It's a different world to the province, my province, and also Manila, in Ilocano. In Ilocos, it's so different. No one spoke Tagalog. I can only speak to them in English. So it was a bit different.
Can you speak Tagalog though?
I can speak Tagalog.
Oh, you can speak to them.
Huh? She hasn't heard me speak Tagalog.
Yes, I have heard you speak some Tagalog.
Yeah, no.
Sige nga, mag-Tagalog na tayo. Ano ba?
But it's very rare because I have an accent.
We all have accents.
fine.
I have an Australian accent. And
That's okay.
I have a Filipino accent.
Talaga, no? Mukhang social.
Mukha ba akong social?
Social nga. Diba? Social ka.
Medyo.
Medyo social ang English mo. Ano ba?
Sometimes I forget words, and then if I go Philippines, I'm speaking to someone, and then I would just forget a Tagalog word, and I have to tell them in English.
Yeah, Taglish is fine.
Yeah.
They think you're rich.
I try not to speak Tagalog, especially at the market or the shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to avoid, and I try to dress down as much as possible. I understand that, but once I speak, it's
Yeah,
over.
it's game over.
No. Yeah, so yeah, Bulacan is like, seriously, it's not, it's part of,
Maybe some parts of Bulacan, not where I grew up.
which,
My house is like literally in front of a rice field.
okay, alright.
Do you understand now?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, where I was staying, it's like everyone built around the road, but just behind them are just rice fields.
Yeah.
Because it's so, it's right, well, actually, it's mais now.
Oh yeah.
Mais season.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's it. Going back to your thing about working with Filipinos, yes, yes. I mean, pretty much. Hopefully, they got something out of it. But it's good to work with people within your culture because then you can make those kind of. We can talk forever about being part of the Filipino community or being Filipino because we always try to look for commonalities, and differences because it's strange. I mean, that's one of the things I like about. I mean, it's like with anybody, when you try to find commonalities. So, we all have something in common, at least. Like, I always try to, ask people for recipes for them. I haven't perfected my adobo, so if you have got a good adobo, let me taste it.
You can ask my dad.
Oh, does he cook?
Yeah.
Is he a better cook than your mum? Is he?
Yeah, he cooks. I think he's the cook of the house.
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
He's very proud of his recipes and stuff. So.
My wife can't cook Filipino. Anyway. Yeah, so that's it. No, back to, yeah. Next question. Okay, let me start something. So, dealing with creatives. How did you get into creative? I'm not a creative.
I guess you are.
Look, you know what? I studied media.
Yeah.
Media and communications as an undergraduate and postgraduate. My undergraduate was mainly theory based. My master's was pretty much practical based, and that's where I probably got my creative juices sort of developing, because back then I actually started in media. I used to be a radio announcer for community radio here.
Oh yeah.
And then I moved to TV, and when you move to TV, it's kind of like, because it's screen, you can do whatever you want with screen. So you can make it more journalistic, or you can make it a bit more creative and do narratives.
You did something for ABS, right? Like the reporting.
Oh
stuff?
yeah. So I was a correspondent for ABS-CBN Balitang Australia when they had a news bureau in Sydney. But I also worked for GMA7 as a journalist. So, I would go out and get stories. So, actually, I worked as a journalist. So, it wasn't... I mean, when you say creative, the writing process is such that you write stories. You write articles. So, that's creative. It's not creative in the sense of writing, fiction.
Like fiction,
yeah. Which, I still think I want to have a go. But at this point, there's other stuff that I'm sort of prioritizing. I'm still young. I mean, what's his name? Who didn't start? Brillante Mendoza didn't start when he was about, late 40s? And he didn't go to film school. I didn't go to film school.
Yeah.
So I just did my media. So, kids, you don't need to go to film school to be a director, okay? Did you go to film school? You didn't.
Is Swinburne a film school?
Yes, it's simple.
Okay.
Sorry, but let's talk about Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese. But you have to be good.
Yeah.
I think that part of it is like if you want to do films, you have to apply yourself and really study. You really have to be a film buff, because I actually didn't pay any attention to films until I did a unit on cinema studies, and I could never watch a film again after that unit at university.
Why?
Because you kind of have to analyze everything. Like when I watch a movie, I'd look at it from a narrative point of view, from a technical point of view, lighting, even the camera angles.
That happens to me now.
Exactly.
I used to just watch a movie and film studies, I would be so interested about the behind the scenes.
Okay.
I find it fun, but I never realized that it's I guess like deep inside me I wanted to be a filmmaker, I guess.
Yeah.
And then after I studied filmmaking, whenever I watched a film, I started analyzing things, the writing, the lighting, the setup, I even watched the entire credits and the music and everything.
Yep, you got to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do now. So, I watch. I just finished. I binge watched House of Ninjas on Netflix, and some of the camera angles. Oh, this is it's not crazy, but it's within that narrative, which makes you feel like. When you watch it and you don't actually see anything wrong with it, it means that they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
But when something different, like, do you watch Mr. Robot?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's freaking, those, the rule of thirds, they just throw it away. Oh. It's just, everything's like, oh my God, it's like, but it works well because it becomes conventional. But that's what I like too. It's like, you got to be creative with what you're doing, because that tells me what kind of story you're trying to tell me. Yeah. Things like DC and Marvel, oh my God, it's like, keep your brain at home, or leave your brain at home and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really escapism.
Yeah.
But, when a film challenges you to actually say, look, pay attention to what we're doing here, I like that.
Yeah.
I actually like that, So, I enjoy that kind of stuff, but it's kind of rare that you have to actually kind of do that. It challenges you because, they got to make money, so they got to try to make it easy.
Yeah.
So So I didn't come from that sort of, but in the way it kind of like it's like being a carpenter. You just don't become a carpenter. You kind of develop into something else, cabinet maker, and then you can build houses, all that. So it just sort of like everything's connected. So I love audio. Like Jerome, he's a audio technician. He's doing all this kind of stuff. It's like it's great. You capture audio, and so many things you can do with it. It's like that process where you can create. Editing is great too. Because you can make a narrative.
Oh yeah.
You can make different narratives.
I know that power. I can make a different sentence, like. Did
you edit the brown puppy dog?
No, I have a different.
Who edited that?
It was a friend / I met her from my film course.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I watched it and I think, that was one that you missed.
There's a few.
No, but the one that missed, when the protagonist looked over the window and saw the dog, I thought that you could have at least just cut more into the dog. That was one thing that I always remember because...
That was a reshoot, actually.
Oh, really?
Because, the dog's shot.
Oh, yeah.
Because we filmed it at the end of the day.
Yeah, but the one who opened the window and saw the dog on the other side? Is that the one?
Which one?
I don't know.
Open the doors.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Was it from a window?
I can't remember. Yeah, through a window. There was just a dog shot.
It would be through a window.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're the director. I don't know. So I watched it once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my background. My background was really just media, sort of journalism, but the creative part just kind of like, it just happened naturally. So I actually do want to shoot a short film this year if I've got the time. I've got a script, not finished yet, but it might come, it might not. It's just I've got so much on my plate on a personal level that I don't think I've got time this year to do anything like that because I've got other plans, in creative sense that I've got to do by the end of this year. Won't tell you yet. It'll be a secret, but okay. You'll find out. But we're also looking at different platforms. The TV format, I think it's still good. The long format. It's just that at this stage we're all into the reels and the TikToks. So the 10-second grabs, but I think that's just a transition because at the end of the day, they're highly addictive. But if you want something meaty, you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Because then you can have a bit more in-depth and more sort of holistic conversation or even the narratives than just the grab. Yeah. Because, it's like us, when we always say, some people say this about when you watch the news. A 90-second news item is just bullshit. Why? It doesn't give you history. It doesn't give you context. Yeah. It doesn't give you, all those things that you need to know, the background. So, say for instance, there's a war in Gaza. 100 people died. Oh, okay. That's important. Just, no. Why don't we look at why there's a conflict in the first place? Let's look at who the major players are. There's not enough of that. Yeah. And I think our society doesn't sort of like value that. That we just want to be quick, instant gratification. It's like anything else. Like, I'm hungry. Let's go to McDonald's. That's fast food. But in the end, I think hopefully we can challenge that and say, look, there's still room for things like long format TV or whatever screen content. And it's hard too when you do TV. They give you like a time, like you got for a 30-minute show. It's got to be 3 segments, and all 3 segments can't be more than 26 minutes. So then you've got to actually figure out, the content according to that. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is it's discipline. You got to keep things tight. Bad thing is like, I can just go to YouTube and do whatever I like. But, at the end, anything more than 10 minutes on YouTube is like really long. Yeah. So, but...
I was just going to say, I barely get any views on YouTube because like the hour-long episodes.
I think you have to make it sensational. Why don't I kill
Maybe
someone
this is
on screen? Jerome, come here. I'll assault you, and we'll put something viral.
You're gonna say something
controversial. Maybe you should do that. Hang on, I'll say something controversial.
That won't get us cancelled.
Well, I mean, it's not, as long as it's not defamatory, libelous, un-PC, sexist, racist, homophobic,
That's a lot.
anti-trans.
What else?
Oh my God, everything has to be all nice. I don't think I've offended anyone today.
I
didn't
so.
say any
Not
names.
Yet.
No, but look, you know what? I think that, okay, I'll say something controversial.
Okay.
I think the question is it important for Filipino creatives to work together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'll say to you, no.
Why?
You don't need to. It's like, what the hell? Why? The kind of thing is like, it's always a problem within our community. And also, like, oh, we have to get together. Oh, let's set up a Filipino chess club, a Filipino volleyball club. It's like Filipino this and that club. Oh, it's like, I know someone's not, a few people aren't going to be happy with me. But like I said before, we come from different backgrounds. And as long as we can find a commonality and also an aim, a common aim which is going to benefit, our goals, then that's fine. But we have so many differing objectives as a creative. And because as a creative, we don't do it for other people. We do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, part of, being creative is therapy. Seriously. The whole process is therapy. It makes us feel good. I love it when I edit. Because when I finish a little piece, even if it's just 1 minute, and I edit quite well, I was like, oh, can I swear?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, this is great. And who feels good about it? Yourself. You're not trying to please everyone.
Yeah.
So in itself, I mean, it could be very lonely when you kind of work by yourself, but sometimes I feel I don't need a huge crew.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm always looking out for my crew. Are they getting what they need? Because if they're not, why are they here? If they want to just talk about, adobo recipes, that's fine, right? Give them a place to belong, right? And that's important. But as a creative, you're actually creating stuff. And as long as you're on the same page, that's great. But I just find that there's so many differences with, firstly, what we're trying to do, whether it's screen, visual arts, performing arts, okay? Because we're talking about creative. So that, I think, encompasses all three: performing, visual, and what's the third one? Visual, performing, and theatre arts. Performing. Yeah.
Performing is theatre.
Yeah. We're all kind of doing it ourselves. And now, if we were talking about a bunch of actors trying to, like come up with, or a group of production, and we would want to, I don't know, write a story. No, see, the writers would write their story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm basically trying to do is, it's very hard. This is not like a basketball team where we all have to come up with, tactics and strategies and teamwork. No, it's someone's idea and the other people support it. That's a good thing if it's shared around, but if it's always someone's idea and, say for instance, Jerome is going to record a piece or whatever and I don't want to be part of that. It's like, oh no, So it's hard.
Yeah.
And the fact that, everyone's got a different objective. And I don't know. It's just like, well, maybe it's just new that we actually found each other. And maybe there will be some people who will find commonalities.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just don't think that it's just that important. You got to have a bit more meat, a bit more, reasoning why you need to get together. Because I always feel that, can you learn more from other people? Of course you can. The industry is huge.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to be stuck with a group of people who basically I'm the same complexion and not, and that's the only commonality where I can just go outside and actually learn more.
Yeah.
However, if I want to do something that's something that we all kind of click and feel it's important for our own community. For me, it's about that. It's a representation of community.
Yeah.
It's important, but making up a story about, I don't know what I am. I'm a Filipino. I'm Australian. I'm a Filipino Australian. Oh, I'm a migrant. It's like, yes, it's important. You're laughing.
I'm trying to figure out.
It's like, no, fucking, seriously, folks, we've done it all before. It's been done. It's been done to death. It's
overdone.
It's overdone.
Yeah.
Think of something else. Why don't you freaking live life, right? There's other issues out there apart from being your freaking identity. So grow up.
I just feel like when I look at these, there's a lot of creative Filipinos at the moment. That's like their thing. That's how they want to make movies, about identity. I mean,
No, you know why? Because it's convenient. It's something that they can learn. But then again, it also shows maybe lived-in experience lacking. Like, go out.
Yeah.
See how, your identity goes with others. People, like, I mean, look, I'm not a spring chicken. I can tell you a million stories about growing up in the suburbs back in the 70s. I can tell you about 1,000,001 stories, because I work for immigration, about other people's stories, about their lives, about, hardship. And people, like, I don't care if I get into trouble. It's like all these people who've just been here for like 10 years. Oh, it's fucking hard to be doing this because I have to work, I have to go to study. It's like, off. Off. When we came here, we had 4 suitcases and $100. Okay? $100. And my father had to find, and my mother had to find a way to feed, a family. Right? No language classes before, because they don't come from a rich school where they speak English, right? They had no knowledge of what kind of skill base they require, because when you come here, you have local experience? No, okay? So, and also transportation, getting around. There were not as many like migrant services. So when someone says, I'm hard up being a newly arrived migrant, off, off, okay? Can you beep that out?
Sure.
It's not hard, okay? You guys are entitled, and you don't know what it was like back in the 70s and 80s, okay? Yeah. When you go to a shopping centre, and when you see a Filipino, they're your instant friend. Do you know why? Because there were no Filipinos to support you back then. Now, you've got the whole western suburbs or the southeastern suburbs. I can count 20 suburbs here where you can walk into a shopping centre, you'll find a Filipino. We had none of that. So who would help us? Huh?
There used to be us when we first came.
Yeah.
When my family saw another family back in the early 90s,
yeah.
we became instant best friends.
Exactly. Yeah, and so the people who complained coming here recently, saying how hard life is, shut the up. I say shut the up and just, like, why don't you ask the old timers how bad life was really like back then? There's another one. Yeah. So about Filipino creatives, like really, if you're going to put a sort of like market your film because it's got an ethnic sort of element, keep it real.
Yeah.
And keep it diverse and keep it, don't use it like, oh, it's just another fucking ethnic film. All right? It's like, you got to be more creative. And I'm serious. Get someone to read it, not just from your own freaking cohort. Yeah. And you all kind of just get someone else who's got more experience. I'm not saying me, but other people out there who can actually read through your scripts. And I'm talking about screen, okay? But performing arts different, probably theatre, all that kind of stuff, and visual arts is different. Yeah. But because it's all about representation. I feel like sometimes when I watch films, I kind of think, oh, this is a missed opportunity. Missed opportunity for you because there's not enough depth to the characters. There's really is there's more sort of like ways for you to present us in a different. When I say us, it's the community. Now I watched a series on a TV show that depicts people from the community. I'm thinking, what the hell is this? I don't know anyone who works in these kind of jobs.
Yeah.
They have terrible accents in the first place. And why did you have to import people from overseas to do a role? Can't you find enough Filipino actors? Maybe not. And that's another thing.
Maybe.
If you're writing a thing for that involves Filipinos, just because it's a Filipino character doesn't mean you have to use a Filipino actor, because it could be shit.
Yeah.
They could look Asian and can make their characters really stand out. Do that. I mean, I've had a conversation with someone who says, wow, with Filipino characters, we should use Filipino actors. What if they're really shit?
Yeah.
Right? Find a good Filipino actor or actress and write for them. Right? There are great actors that I know. We all know them. And no one writes for them because, I only know, the characters of these. Like, no, look for these actors because they'll make your story great, okay, on screen.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Sort of. I still love the casting process. Like.
Oh, yeah, it's true. But if you were to say, okay, say for instance, I don't know, you wrote a story about an international student, 26-year-old, okay, and talks about trials and tribulations of being
an
international student, right? Okay, it's a Filipino character. Mm-hmm. You ask for people to audition, okay, but you said it doesn't have to be Filipino; it must be of Asian-looking appearance, right? So you get two people. One's a Filipino, it's they're Filipino because of their name and, talk to them. And another one is non-Filipino. Looks Filipino enough. Mm-hmm. I mean, Filipinos are quite varied, We look Chinesey, we look Malay, we look like everything. Yeah. Right? And so, the Filipino, the Filipino Australian doesn't come. Mm-hmm. I mean, doesn't perform as well. Okay? And the other one's a better actor.
Yeah.
So, as a director, who would you choose?
I choose the better performance.
Exactly. That's my point.
Unless. Okay, go on. I'll just tell my story later.
No, I think that's it. That's where you start. It's like, I know it's a Filipino character, but this person, it's like with anything else. It's like, I mean, when Hollywood says, why are you casting a European person for an Asian-looking role? That's wrong. That is wrong. Mm-hmm. Because if it's a Asian character, how many Asians are out there? How many Asian actors are there? And I think Hollywood is caught up because now they're making films with strictly Filipino, Asian American characters.
Yeah.
And people watch them.
Yeah.
So, I draw the line about, getting someone else.
Yeah. I kind of experienced that actually.
In what sense?
Because when I was casting, I've got two stories about casting on this one. One is when you were casting for Taray, you kind of told me that it was so hard to find Filipino actors. And that scared me. I was like, oh my God, what if I can't find actors for Aswang? It wasn't that hard for me.
Why? Oh, Aswang, who was it? Oh, those
Mayan.
Three. Yeah. Oh, Mayan wasn't around.
Mine wasn't. She wasn't
around.
Still.
We didn't know her. No one knew her when we casted Taray.
Think
Taray was pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think she was here. She was here during COVID, but yeah, she probably just moved.
It was pre-COVID. Yeah. So when we did Taray, it was like 2 years before Taray because I know that we had problems with scheduling, and that what ultimately stuffed it up was that COVID stuffed it up, and then people decided to go on holidays and like, we can't schedule this.
Yeah.
And some people went home and just couldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know Mayan back then. And we had to look hard. I mean, even then, sometimes also, we did search high and low and looked at a lot of places for people to cast. And sometimes they kind of didn't come up to scratch because it's not... Look, you know what? You might be talented, but you have to have a good attitude.
Yeah. And
some people don't have a good attitude. They kind of think, well, I'm going straight to Hollywood. Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You have to deal with us little people first. Us little people will actually help you out.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, I mean, who knows? Keshi in 20 years' time could be, making it big in Hollywood. And you treat her like shit. No, but the point I'm trying to make is like, when people on the other side of the lens feel as if they're much more important than they really are. Well, I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to really help us out to help you.
Yeah.
We may not be great at our craft now, but who knows? One of us might be making big buck films in Hollywood in 20 years' time and might be a role for you. And then remember how much of an asshole you were to us. So, you.
Beep.
Sorry, I'm trying to get your likes up here. So who cares? I don't mind.
Yeah.
Just as long as a yeah.
Anyway, my other story.
Yeah, what's yours?
Yeah, my second story about
it's gonna be hard
a
to edit.
casting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sort of relates to what you were saying earlier about casting and like who do you choose? Because the character that I was casting for is supposed to be someone who came from the Philippines, someone who would speak English fluently. But when I started casting, it's either someone who speaks fluent but not as good of an actor, or someone who doesn't speak fluent but is perfect for the role. So I chose that one.
Yeah.
And I just adjusted the script.
Yeah.
And it worked.
So did it work?
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm happy with it. Yeah.
It's so hard, really, when especially when you do stuff like identity politics or identity things like this. It's very hard to find because when going back to that TV series that I watch, I mean, as a Filipino, I said, "What the hell? These people can't even put on an accent, and they're on this series."
Yeah.
I mean, the director should have said, "Oh, can we improve your accent or the way you deliver?" But seriously, you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Which one?
I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you after that. Just in case
I
they
mean,
watch it.
is it the one with it involves different communities?
No, it involves...
Just the Filipino community?
No, different communities, yeah. And there were a lot of women in that.
Okay.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
I actually read an article written by someone else who shared the same view as me. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is it was just really just a backlash towards what they were trying to do in terms of...
Is it the one with maids in it?
No comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it said no comment.
Okay.
But again, like, it's like, are you trying to play up the stereotypes to the community?
Yeah. I felt the same way.
It's like, no. People would say, oh, it's wonderful because you see Filipinos on screen. It's like, yes, it's like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. There's a Filipina in there and she pops out
Oh my god.
ping pong balls out of her, whatever. Do you think that's a good representation of Filipinos? Think again. No, it isn't.
When I was studying film and I was doing research about Filipinos in Australia and Filipinos in movies in Australia, that's one of the things that I discovered that thing. I was like, what the hell?
That was an insult to the Filipino community. Whoever wrote that, I know it's a great musical, but putting that woman in is not just misogynist. It's just downright wrong representation of us.
Yeah.
Even to depict a woman to do that kind of stuff, it's so wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my standards, but seriously, anyway.
Anyway.
Okay, you got enough graphs. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so, yeah. Is that it? I mean, what else do you want to talk about?
Maybe we can wrap it up.
Why me? What are you looking at me?
The future. Okay, future.
Actually, there's something that I want to talk about because this is our last episode.
Okay.
So I'm actually very happy that our last episode is very spicy and.
Wait for next season. I'll come up with something more spicy.
But I feel like a lot of the things that we've talked about Filipino creatives and working together and whatever, it's a bit of a culmination of what I've wanted to do for the podcast because I just wanted to. Like we talked about how we have different experiences as Filipinos here, and for me, I wanted this to be like a platform of those kind of things, like different experiences, different creatives, different kind of arts and stuff. So that's great. I'm sort of hesitating of asking Jerome because you said you don't want to be in. I just wanted to have like a retrospective look.
Okay.
Of how the podcast has been. Brian's episode, I'd say, is the most controversial yet before yours comes out. Jerome, what do you think is which episode would you say did you enjoy filming so far?
I liked Mayan's episode.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of really funny stories.
Yeah, I love her episode as well.
Her episode, I don't know. There's just been a lot of highlights.
Yeah.
So,
Have you seen Mayan's episode?
Seen? I haven't.
Watch? Listen?
I have to listen. I didn't know that you have Spotify.
You know what? I think it was Mayan's
she got the most views.
TikTok clip who got the most views.
Oh.
I don't know why.
What did she say?
She just talked about her experience working
in
and
the film
how stressful it was. It's got like 7.3k views on TikTok now, and that's like the most views that I've got.
Okay. I've got to activate my TikTok. I'm not on social media. I'm sorry to say, but
It's okay.
I'm one of these people. Look, seriously.
I only made TikTok for my podcast.
But I want to get into TikTok. I actually hate other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I just find that it's mentally and physically last year
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to throw it in. Like I didn't want to talk to anyone.
Yep.
I was just that tired and fatigued about my whole episode with my father being relocated that I was just can't be bothered with anybody. So when you rang me up, I thought, do I really want to do this? Oh, it's for Keshi. Yeah, I'll do it. But I haven't been going to any of the events or anything. So it's just now that I thought, let's start again because there's no point of just living in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been out of it. Like I think the last post that I put up was a rainbow. And that was, I thought, no, I'm not going to post anything else.
Yeah.
Don't want. I'm kind of like depressed about also things that happen on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to move platforms. I think I'll just go to Insta.
Okay.
Insta's safe.
Yeah.
No?
It depends on which part of...
Just don't use the reels and stuff. I just
Yeah.
follow people, but I don't like how the reels come up now. It's just.
Oh yeah, that's new, isn't it?
Yeah, I hate it, but I just liked it when it was like an old Insta. It didn't have all these video things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just have to stay on YouTube. I watch YouTube so much more than normal, whatever.
Yeah.
Just for everything, like even travel tips.
Yeah. Research
Everything.
and stuff. There's a lot of educational stuff on YouTube.
Why did you put this on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
Oh, is it?
I told
So I
you.
don't know anything. I've been on social media. So it's on YouTube and Spotify.
Yep.
Okay, under what? Keshi.
By Keshi.
By
Sakdalan.
Keshi.
I made it Keshi Sakdalan.
For what? YouTube and Spotify?
Spotify, maybe just search Kwentuhang Creative.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Kwentuhang Creative. Okay, so people, if you want to listen to some great conversation. So some good. So listen, folks, for a good conversation. Listen to Keshi.
Yeah,
Keshi
I'll make you do
Sagdalan.
it.
Listen to Keshi Sagdalan here on Kwentuhang Creatives. Kwentuhan ng mga creative. Kwentuhan Creatives. Only here by Keshi. Here Keshi actually speaks to different creatives in Melbourne. She's the only one who can incisely.
Is that your radio voice?
Yeah, that's my radio voice. You actually have to chop it down.
When
you do radio, you have to drop
it?
down of it.
Am I doing it?
No,
I don't know how to do it.
Because when I get excited, my thing. But when you actually have to do the radio voice, because no one can see you.
Am I doing it?
Yeah, you can. Can you drop it lower? Lower.
I'm not sure.
You have to. You can feel the diaphragm. Can you feel it? Can you hear it?
I don't feel it.
I can hear it.
Jerome,
I can't do it.
you're a sexy man.
We're doing
Jerome.
ASMR right now.
I can't do it.
Oh my God! You guys would have so much fun talking to people. Who else have you invited? Hang on, there's a girl that I didn't know. So you had Alfred
first
on.
episode was
Maridel.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Second episode was AC.
Who's AC? I don't know AC.
I met her through Pangkat Sining.
Oh, okay.
Who else?
She's a filmmaker as well. And the third episode I think is Brian.
Brian.
Right. Fourth episode is.
Rex.
The girl, what's her name?
You know what?
She works in like a museum or something.
Oh, Angelica.
No. Wait. Hang on. Okay.
And she lives
So
in
I
like
got-
South Yara or something. And she bought like fruits. I forgot her name.
Alfred, I see. Oh no, third episode is Brian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fourth episode is my friend who just started doing content creation. And then
yeah, the woman. Oh yeah.
yeah, it was my friend. 1, 2. And then I had Mardell, and then Mayan, and then Rex.
Ah, Rex.
Yeah.
Is he back from Japan?
I think he should be back today.
Oh,
Yeah.
good old Rex. Haven't seen him for a year nearly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
Have you heard like what's happened? Oh, have you want? Sorry, you do your wrap up.
Yeah, let me wrap this up, please.
Wrap it up.
We're almost at an hour and a half.
Oh, shit. It's okay. It's the last episode. Anyway, so yeah, those are the guests that we've had. I'd say my favorite. I love you all, okay, but I really enjoyed Mayan's episode as well. Just because, I don't know.
She brought up the whole seafood thing. Was it her?
Nah, it
What
was from a
seafood?
different... Because I don't think... Because I think seafood is a luxury, and he thinks the seafood is not a luxury.
Seafood is a luxury.
See? There's two of us.
You're lucky.
In the
Hang on.
Philippines, it's
So,
not.
do you eat crabs?
Yeah.
What kind of fish though? Not
Any
tilapia.
fish. I eat tilapia. We have tilapia.
Oh, that's.
We have diles. We have
Oyster?
Do you have squid?
oysters.
Sea oyster?
Do you have
Yeah, we
squid?
have squid.
Oh my god.
So we have
See?
squid. We have sometimes we eat the oysters like raw.
Yeah,
because they're
rock
so
oysters.
fresh. Yeah, they're like
Oh my
so raw.
god, that's
See, I
expensive.
told
Then
you.
you put vinegar and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that's
It's really
expensive.
fresh, so fresh. I mean,
But that's expensive stuff, Jerome. Well, maybe in
Not that
Bataan
bad.
where they live.
Yeah.
It's like
not that,
plentiful.
it's just,
Because that's where they get that.
yeah, I think Maribeles is where they have a lot of the fishermen. They go there and then they take it back to Pulanga, which is not far.
So, is your village or town next to the sea?
There's a lot of fish ponds, but a lot of them go out to like they actually have to go out a bit more to
Yeah, because when you fly, right? When you fly out of Manila and you look down, you'll actually fly over Bataan, and you can see that there's like lots of lines.
Yeah.
Like
Bataan? Did
No,
they
no,
go
you-
north
you
before
want-
going to
yeah,
Australia?
you want-
Oh, sorry. When I went to China, sorry, I flew by southern China southern, so we went north,
Ah, yep.
and also Cathay
I
Pacific.
fly
so,
direct.
But when I grew up,
Can't
I grew
afford
up in
that.
the Philippines,
Super Pacific or
Philippine
Philippine
Airlines.
Oh my god! So Shanghai.
It was so expensive
Oh, no,
last
eh.
year. Oh my god.
It's expensive.
It's 2,100 per person.
That is expensive. My God.
I'm not doing it again. No.
No. Why didn't you? Why didn't you go Super Pacific?
We were scared because there's a lot of cancellations.
You're right.
So
So Keshi, out of this is a great series that you put together. Can you tell us some of the highlights and what you enjoyed about doing this whole series and how was the experience?
I I definitely learned a lot, which is I really I enjoyed that part because I learned a lot of things about, for example, because I've never worked in the film or TV industry in the Philippines. So when I talk to someone who's worked in the Philippines, it's like very eye opening. And then learning about different experiences because I moved here as pretty much an adult, almost an adult.
How old were you?
16? I think I was 16 when I first came here, and then 18 when we started like living permanently.
So
Teenager
Pinay
almost.
talaga.
Yeah.
Pinay na Pinay.
I didn't grew up here.
Oh,
So, it's different experience from your experience, for example.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoy those kind of things. And, we had a lot of fun just laughing at things.
So what do you think was what did you get out most? I mean, out of this whole experience, you had some guests, you said, and you had a lot of insights about how the Philippine industry went. But this is your first series. Were there difficulties in putting it together?
Oh, for me, because, talking is not my best skill.
You're all right. I think this kind of format suits you though.
Yeah, because it's more comfortable for me. And that's also why I chose this setting, I guess just trying to book a guest is challenging, first and foremost.
Oh, okay.
Because not everyone wants to be in front of the camera.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the people who are behind the cameras, or what? They're not usually like
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
Of, okay.
Because if you're an actor or if you're just used to being in front of the camera, then
But you warmed up to it. You're okay now.
yeah. But I'm talking about like the guests that I'm inviting. Yeah.
Have you
That
tried?
hides the
Have
alcohol.
you tried interviewing people while a bit tipsy?
we can do that.
Because
I
you know
haven't.
what,
I haven't seen those shows.
Keshi, I think there's an inner part of you that would actually. Do you think it'd come out more?
She has come out, but
Yeah, you have. Seriously, Keshi, can I tell you? I always thought you were like really, really quiet. Maybe
I am.
within a big group. But no. But this works for you though.
Yeah.
I mean, because all you need to be is like to keep a conversation going, and that's it. I think you should do it. Keep doing it. Can you tell me again why you started this series?
So I was trying to make a documentary, but that didn't work out for me because I feel like I need to improve my skills more in terms of in the world of nonfiction, because I think before that I've been mainly working in like the fiction kind of stories. So I said, I feel like I need to improve my interviewing skills, talking skills in general. So I said maybe a podcast would be more achievable, and I reckon we have achieved most of it. I have Jerome who's helping me out with a lot of things, and my other friends helping me with editing.
But
What was
at the end, what was your experience like? What were the highlights?
To be honest, like when I started this, I was just nervous that I'm not gonna be good at it. So to me, the highlights was when I'm genuinely enjoying the conversation, because when I pitched this to the guest that I wanted to come, I always say, I want it to be like a kwentuhan, not an interview. Like it's not gonna be a formal interview. I just want it to be chill and casual, just talk about whatever. So when that's happening, that's for me, that's the highlight.
Yeah. One of the highlights was probably for you to look back at your first episode, and then till now, I think maybe the your skills and just cuento is better now. It's like
she's changed from the very first episode. She was so quiet compared to this.
And awkward.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I don't want to watch
I saw the first episode. You were like this. You were like this. I think this is like you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, I was very nervous and very awkward, but I'm just thankful that I had Alfred, because I feel like he carried the entire episode, entire conversation. Cool. He's really good at talking. So, but yeah, I used to have like a list of questions to ask just to remind myself so I don't run out of questions to ask. But yeah, now I don't have it anymore.
Oh, well, there you go. You're comfortable with what you're doing and your structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is a structure, there's no structure.
No, but I think maybe that's the intent, because I came here, can't tell you, I was driving here and said, what the hell am I doing and what kind of questions? Usually they tell me the sort of like content that they want. So I thought, oh my God, maybe it's one of those open-ended sort of like, just let's chat. I thought, oh, okay. So yeah, no, I mean, it's good because, the thing is when people talk, they lead you somewhere else. And that again gives you content that could be interesting.
Yeah. And
maybe controversial or something like that. But you know what I mean? It's like, what do you call it? You never know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
So, no, I actually enjoyed this session. No, it's good. I think people, you should hop on Spotify and tune into YouTube and watch Keshi's, what do you call it, interviews, or Kwentuhang with other creatives. So, I mean, I think, you did quite well with getting this done with the help of Jerome and your support staff and crew. Yep. No, you should keep it going. There's no one does this. Did you know that? No one does this. And I think it's important that, people like, not just myself, but other people that you've brought in can share the journey. I think that's it. Their journey into the creative field. I mean, Jerome should be here being interviewed too. Because
he doesn't.
Maybe one day.
Okay.
If it's a podcast, his face won't be seen, right?
We can make a special episode with no cameras.
You can do those like deep fake, and you can put someone else's face on.
Oh yeah.
Or someone else's body.
Some people do that, like on YouTube. Yeah, like you just cover it. We can do that,
or
Jerome,
you can give him like 6-pack.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's COVID, I can wear a mask.
Yeah.
No, but it's good. I think, when you started this, I'm thinking, oh, this is interesting because you just talk about creatives. Not anyone else, It's like, yeah, and it's one of those things that everyone's journey is different, but it's interesting how and with you, I suppose the context is being brown and Filipino and also being creative.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I think in this session I spoke about being brown and my participation in the creative field. So that's an issue itself.
Yeah.
Could be a goer.
I mean, I feel like because it's too specific, right? So for me, there's like cons and pros and cons for that. Because
make it Asian?
Yeah. True. Yeah, maybe we can All right, fine. I'll think about it of doing more.
But there's a lot of creatives out there.
Yeah.
Like Filipino Australian creatives. Just got to go out there and...
I don't know. It's just tiring.
Is it?
Having to message everyone.
Oh, really?
And the rejections.
You know what you do? You know, you're
Have someone else do that.
You need someone else to do that.
I need help.
You need a producer.
Yeah, can you help me?
I know. I'll go fix up my dad's house first and whatever.
Alright. Anyway, yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed it. You're sort of convincing me to do more, so I'll think about it. But for now, this is the last episode.
Oh,
so,
hopefully not the last.
I guess for this season.
You know, yeah. Anyway, it's just all those things that if it's tying you down, you just got to look for different processes to get this more smoothly done. That's the hard part about doing any production. It's like who, what, where, and how.
Yeah.
Like, am I doing the workflow as efficiently? You know, I mean, one of the things that I learned is how to work with a crew and how not to work with a crew. Whether a bigger crew is better than none at all.
Yeah.
And sometimes none at all is actually better. No, because of, you know, like when you shoot, access to areas where you can't carry big equipment. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's hard, especially when you're starting out with this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, Jerome looks really interested. Maybe he's got a few friends in his sort of like, you know, troop dropper to bring in.
Yeah, some of them is. Yeah, I've got a few who's like recommend.
I have a lot of musician friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let me wrap this up for the 5th time. So yeah, for now, this is the last episode. Thank you everyone for those few people who have actually watched or listened each episode. Hopefully, maybe we'll see you again soon. Right? Thank you for coming here.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes.
And thanks also, of course, to the guy behind
Thank you, Jerome.
the camera, Jerome.
Yep. And our video editors, Jason and Alex.
And everyone in the crew.
Yep.
We love your
That's
work.
it. That's the crew.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And Keshi, it's great that you've actually got something like this happening. And hopefully we can get the word out and people can listen to your podcast. Good luck. I hope you have a second series.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Ciao. Paalam.